Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to know parts. So, brainstem, parts. So, midbrain, pons, and medulla. These three constitute the brainstem. I already advised all of you through your class representative that the central nervous system is a continuous subject. So before knowing about the pons, you have to study about the medulla. Before knowing about the medulla, you have to study about the nuclear organization, the brainstem, and etc. previous classes. You have to go well through the previous classes. Then only this class will be properly understood and a clear-cut idea will be come. So this is the pons. Is the middle part of the brainstem. In Latin, pons means it is bridge. It is a bridge. Pons is a bridge. It lies in the posterior cranial fossa on the clivius, anterior to cerebellum. It lies in the posterior cranial fossa. So there is another structure, that is cerebellum is also in the posterior cranial fossa. So the pons lies anterior to the cerebellum. It lies in the posterior cranial fossa on the clivius, anterior to the cerebellum. Then what do you meant by clivius? It is nothing but a part of creation of basi-occiput and basi-sphenoid bone and forms a bony projection that is called clivius. That is anterior to the pons and posterior to the pons is the cerebellum. So posterior to the pons is the cerebellum. The pons itself is present in posterior cranial fossa. It is present in posterior cranial fossa. Now, you see, this is the pons, this is the cerebellum. So, this is the anterior surface of the pons. This is the posterior surface of the pons. So, this forms the floor of the fourth ventricle. So, this forms the floor. This is nothing but a shape, a tent-like cavity. This is the floor of the fourth ventricle. This is the floor of the fourth ventricle. So, this is the pons. This is the ventral surface or anterior surface. This is the posterior surface or a dorsal surface. So, this is the pons. So, this is the cerebellum. This is the medulla. Medulla is continuous with as spinal cord below. So, medulla is continuous below as spinal cord. Now, this is the pons. How it is. This is the dorsal or ventral surface of the pons. Now, this is the pyramid. This is the olive. So, this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. So, this is the pons. It is convex from side to side and also from above downwards. So, it on both directions, it is convex. On both directions, it is convex. The pons is convex in both directions from above downwards and from right side to left side or left side to right side. So, in both directions, it is convex. Now, the central nervous system is composed of two main components, gray matter and white matter. The gray matter is principally consists of neurons. White matter is principally consists of nerve fibers. So, gray matter is principally consists of neurons and white matter is principally consists of fibers as it is. Now, as like the central nervous system, the pons also consists of two substances, gray substance and a white matter. Gray matter and a white matter. Now. So, in the spinal cord, the central part is gray matter, H shape, and the peripheral part is white matter. Now, the structural components and functions of the pons. Now, gray matter. Now, already I told you, gray matter is nothing but neurons. Collection of neurons in the central nervous system is called nuclei. Collection of neurons in the central nervous system is called nuclei. Outside the central nervous system is called ganglia. Now, The gray matter of the pons contains pontine nuclei. They are relay stations of corticopontine fiber and give origin to the pontocerebellar fibers. So, pontine nuclei, their function is relay stations of corticopontine fibers. So, fibers coming from the cortex end in the nuclei present in the pons. From the nuclei present in the pons, they end and again fibers comes. So, they are called corticopontine fiber. So, they give origin to pontocerebellar fibers. From the pons, cerebellar fibers goes to the cerebellum. So, fibers coming from the cerebral cortex end in the pontine nuclei, and from pontine nuclei fibers arise and goes to the pontocerebellar fibers. Now, nuclei of 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerves are also present with the pons. I want to tell you there are 12 cranial nerves. First and second, olfactory and optic, arise from the forebrain. Oculomotor and trochlear are associated with the midbrain. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerves are associated with pons. Whereas the remaining 4, 9, 10, 11 and 12, glossopharyngeal, vagus, accessory, hypoglossal nerve, these are associated with the medulla. These are associated with the medulla. So, pontine nuclei 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerves give or receive nerve fibers of these cranial nerves. Pontine respiratory center. So, in the pons also respiratory center is present. It modifies the output of respiratory centers in the medulla. In the medulla also respiratory center is there. So, pons is superior to the medulla. So, this pontine respiratory center modifies the action of the respiratory center present in the medulla. Now, I already told you the white matter of central nervous system is nothing but fibers. They consist of ascending fibers and descending fibers. Ascending fibers and descending fibers. Descending fibers, descending tracks, they are motor and ascending are sensory. So, subserve the motor and sensory functions. Subserve the motor and sensory functions. Now, transverse pontocerebellar fibers. Transverse pontocerebellar fibers. These fibers are arising from the pons and goes to the cerebellum. They are pontocerebellar fibers. So, ascending and descending tracks, you can take it as a longitudinal fiber. So, you can take these fibers as a transverse fibers from the distal segment of recently evolved corticopontocerebellar pathway. From the cortex to the pons, pontine nuclei is there. From the pontine nuclei goes to the cerebellum. So, this is a corticopontocerebellar pathway. Now, external features of the pons. I want to tell you the external features of the pons. Two surfaces, ventral and dorsal, and two borders, superior and inferior. Two surfaces, ventral and dorsal, and two borders, superior and inferior. Ventral anterior surface is convex in both directions. It is transversely striated due to underlying pontocerebellar fibers. It presents a vertical groove, that is a basilar groove that lodges the basilar artery. You must again go through all of these. I will show you in the diagram. Now, this is the pons. This is the superior border of the pons. This is the inferior border of the pons. So, this is the pons transverse fibers solvitaceous. So, these are transverse fibers. Now, this is the pyramid. So, from the cerebral cortex, fibers comes into the midbrain. So, from the midbrain to the pons, and from the midbrain, they go into the pyramid. From the pyramids, they go into the anterior horn cells of the spinal cord. They are corticospinal fibers. They are corticospinal fibers. So, this is the pyramid. This is the olive. So, this is the ventral surface of the pons contains a groove. This is a groove. This groove contains a basilar artery. This is a groove present in the center of the pons on the ventral surface. This groove contains an artery, that is basilar artery of the pons. From that artery, pontine branches arise and goes and supply blood to the pons. So, this is the ventral surface of the pons. I will show you the diagram of pons. Now, this is the superior border of the pons. This is the inferior border of the pons. This is the ventral surface of the pons. This entire one is ventral surface of the pons. This is the basilar groove. Now, this is the oculomotor nerve. This is the trochlear nerve. This is the superior cerebellar peduncle. So, this is this part is middle cerebellar peduncle. So this one is inferior cerebellar peduncle because the cerebellum is present on posterior aspect of the pons. It contains three peduncles: superior cerebellar peduncle, middle cerebellar peduncle, and inferior cerebellar peduncle. So the middle cerebellar peduncle is coming from the pons and going into the cerebellum. So one middle cerebellar peduncle on right side and another middle cerebellar peduncle on left side, both goes into the two halves of the cerebellum. Cerebellum contains two hemispheres. There are two cerebellar hemispheres. So middle cerebellar peduncles are the pons. The middle cerebellar peduncles, they arise from the pons. They are two in number, goes into two cerebellar hemispheres. Now this is the superior border of the pons. So this superior cerebellar peduncle disappears into the upper border of the pons. Disappears into the upper border of the pons. This is the oculomotor nerve. This is the trochlear nerve. This is the optic nerve and olfactory nerve. This is not present in this diagram. So this is the second nerve. So first nerve is not present in the diagram. This is the third nerve. This is the fourth nerve. This is the fifth nerve, trigeminal. This is the sixth nerve, abducent. This is the facial nerve. The small one is motor root. This large lateral one is sensory root. So this is the trigeminal nerve. So 1, 2, 3. So etc. These nerves, and there is another nerve also. So trigeminal nerve, abducent nerve, and facial nerve. So 5th, 6th, 7th, and vestibulocochlear nerve is also associated with the pons. So they arise from the pons. Now these are nerves associated with. This is the hypoglossal nerve, glossopharyngeal nerve, vagus nerve, spinal accessory nerve. So hypoglossal nerve, so glossopharyngeal nerve, so vagus nerve, accessory nerve. So these are all the nerves. 4 nerves arising from the medulla. So 4 nerves are associated with the pons. 2 nerves are associated with midbrain, and 1 and 2 are associated with the forebrain. So 12 cranial nerves attached to the brainstem, and their position is also shown in this diagram. So this is the trigeminal nerve. Already I told you. This is the vestibulocochlear nerve. Now trigeminal nerve again contains the medial motor, and a large sensory lateral. So this is the medial motor and large lateral sensory. This is the large lateral sensory part of the trigeminal nerve. This is a small medial motor part of the sensory nerve. So if you draw a line lateral to the sensory root of the trigeminal nerve, it divides the pons from the middle cerebellar peduncle that is going into the cerebellar hemisphere. So you have to identify. So this is the entire one. So this one. So this one. So this one. So this one. This one is the pons. So a line drawn lateral vertically from the lateral border of the sensory part of the trigeminal nerve, a large sensory part present on lateral side of the trigeminal nerve. So that divides the middle cerebellar peduncle. So this is a line. If you draw a line like this part is the middle cerebellar peduncle coming from the pons going into the cerebellum. So pons is attached to the cerebellum by means of middle cerebellar peduncle. Now this is the pons. It is transversely striated. It is transversely striated because of underlying fibers going into the cerebellum from the pontine nuclei. So from the cerebrum, fibers come and end in the pontine nuclei. From the pontine nuclei, some fibers arise and goes into the cerebellum. Because of these transverse direction of the fibers, the pons is transversely striated. The pons is transversely striated. This is the ventral surface of the pons. Now this is dorsal surface of the pons. So it is nothing but floor of the fourth ventricle. It is nothing but floor of the fourth ventricle. So this is the middle cerebellar peduncle that is going into the, coming from the pons and going into the This is the middle cerebellar peduncle. This is middle cerebellar peduncle. This is going into the each cerebellar hemisphere. Now, this is the inferior cerebellar peduncle. Now, if you draw a diagram like this is the floor of the fourth ventricle. So, upper part is open part and lower one is closed part. Upper part is open part and the lower one is closed part. So, you can see this is the floor of the fourth ventricle. This is the floor of the fourth ventricle. This is the trochlear nerve arising from the dorsal aspect. This is a trochlear nerve arising from the dorsal aspect. So, you can study the floor of the fourth ventricle in the ventricular system, but I want to tell you certain salient features. So, this part, the median sulcus, divides the entire spinal cord into right half and left half. Like that, it also divides the floor of the fourth ventricle into right half and left half. If you draw a diagram line between the two middle cerebellar peduncle, it divides the rhomboid fossa of the floor of the fourth ventricle, rhomboid fossa of the floor of the fourth ventricle into upper triangular part and lower triangular part. Now, this is a facial colliculus. This is a facial eminence. This is a facial colliculus. This is a sulcus limitans present in the lateral wall of the notochord, neural tube, dividing it into this one and this one. So, this sulcus limitan extends upwards and diverges to form the superior fovea. Again, the sulcus limitans goes upward and gives a colored valve, that is locus ceruleus. That is locus ceruleus. Now, this one is the vestibular area. This one is the vestibular area. Again, this one is divided like this and divided like this into four quadrants. So, upper superior lateral, upper superior medial, lower inferior medial and lower inferior lateral. So, like that, the vestibular area is divided into four nuclei. So, it is the division. Now, this is the stria medullaris. Is nothing but a white band of fibers. So, how they are stria medullaris? This is a tinea, is another white color of band of fibers. Now, this is the nothing but a hypoglossal triangle. It contains hypoglossal nucleus. Now, this is a vagal triangle. This is a vagal triangle. This is a indistinct line, that is piniculus separatus. Piniculus separatus. Piniculus separatus. So, this piniculus separatus separating the this one, the ciliate vagal triangle above and below is the area postrema. So, an indistinct line, dotted line, separates this into two, upper part, vagal triangle, and below that is area postrema. So, like that, you can see a certain features of the floor of the fourth ventricle in the dorsal aspect of the parts, because the cerebellum is removed. So, to see this part, floor of the fourth ventricle, you have to remove the cerebellum because that is hidden by the cerebellum. So, this is the cerebellum, this is the floor of the fourth ventricle, orbit appears like that. Dorsal surface is covered by cerebellum. You see how the dorsal surface of the pons is covered by cerebellum. Triangular in shape and forms the upper part of the floor of the fourth ventricle. It is triangular in shape, no doubt, it is triangular in shape and forms the upper part of the floor of the fourth ventricle. This is the entire thing on the floor of the fourth ventricle. Now, superior border. Cerebral peduncles attached to this border. Superior cerebellar arteries curve along this border between the oculomotor and trochlear nerves. Now, superior border of the parts, I will show you in the diagram. This is the superior border of the parts. So, this is the oculomotor nerve. This is the trochlear nerve coming from the dorsal aspect, curving around the superior cerebellar peduncle. So, this oculomotor nerve curving laterally around the superior cerebellar peduncle. So, superior cerebellar arteries curves along this border. Superior cerebellar artery curves along this border. Now, inferior cerebellar artery curves along this border. That is anterior inferior cerebellar artery. So, superior cerebellar artery, anterior inferior cerebellar artery. So, the central part is basilar artery. So, they are nothing but branches from the basilar artery. So, superior cerebellar artery, inferior cerebellar artery, anterior inferior cerebellar artery, superior cerebellar arteries. Now, these two arteries are associated with the pons, superior border and inferior border. Now, upper end of the medulla is continuous with this border. Anterior inferior cerebellar arteries curve around this border. So, upper border is associated with superior cerebellar artery. Inferior border, that is medulla, that is with medulla. So, is associated with anterior inferior cerebellar arteries. Now, internal structure of the pons. Cross section at any level of the pons shows two distinct features: large ventral or basilar part continuous inferiorly with pyramids of the medulla and on each side with the middle cerebellar artery. Large ventral or basilar part and a small dorsal or tegmental part. Large ventral or basilar part, because pons is the second part of the brainstem, medulla is the third part of the brainstem. Medulla continues upwards. So, ventral surface of the medulla continues with pons. Dorsal surface of the medulla continues with pons. So, ventral surface of the medulla is large. Large ventral or basilar part continues inferiorly with pyramids of the medulla and on each side with middle cerebellar artery. Dorsal or tegmental part is directed upward, continuous to the medulla, excluding the pyramids. If you remove the pyramids, the entire thing is tegmental part. I will show you. Now, large ventral or basilar part continues inferiorly with pyramids of the medulla. It is usually the same at upper section of the pons, transverse section of the pons, and also at the lower section of the pons. But changes occurs only in the tegmental part. Changes occurs in the dorsal or tegmental part. Structure of the tegmental part vary considerably in the upper and lower parts of the pons. Basilar part, this part consists of longitudinal fibers, transverse fibers, and pontine nuclei. Structure of the basilar part is same at all levels. Now, this is the section of the pons at the lower level. This is nothing but pyramid. This is nothing but pyramid. Now, this is the dorsal tegmental part. So, this one is the up to this one. So, this is continuous. This is continuous. This is the continuous like this. This is middle cerebellar artery. So, this is nothing but pyramid, a raised one. This is nothing but pyramid. So, I will show you where we have taken a section. This is the section of the now. This is the upper border of the pons. This is lower border of the pons. If you take section at the lower border of the pons, this is nothing but pyramids. This is nothing but olives. So, this pyramids is continuous with middle cerebellar artery. You take section at the upper border of the pons. That means we are cutting the pons at this level. You have to study these one. So, the ventral surface of the pons or basilar part is same at all levels because this pyramid is continuous above. So, it is. So, fibers are coming from the cerebral cortex. into the pyramid. They are motor fibers. So whereas the dorsal or tegmental part varies at the upper level, this level and this level. Now you see this diagram. This is the pontine nuclei. They are nothing but a collection of nerve fibers, neurons in the pons. They have got longitudinal fiber. These are longitudinal fibers. This is transverse fibers. This is transverse fiber. These are longitudinal fiber. So this one is black dots. They are nothing but pontine nuclei. So you see this transverse fiber is arising from the dotted pontine nuclei. They are going like this. Transverse fibers. So these are constituting the middle cerebellar peduncle. These are constituting the middle cerebellar peduncle. Whereas the fibers, these are longitudinal fibers. Where I have put my cursor. This is the longitudinal fibers. They are coming from the cerebral cortex. They are going through the midbrain. They are going through the pons. They are going through the pyramids into the medulla to reach the anterior spinal cord. Anterior horn cell present in the spinal cord. Spinal cells present in the anterior horn. So these are nothing but longitudinal fibers. These are nothing but transverse fibers arising from the pontine nucleus. So this dotted also pontine nuclei. So longitudinal fibers end. So transverse fibers start here, going to as a middle cerebellar peduncle, going as middle cerebellar peduncle. So this entire one is this part is ventral part, basilar part. So this is dorsal part or tegmental part. So this is section of the pons at the lower border of the pons. This diagram is like this. I will show you section of the pons at the upper level. You see, typically. So you see, this is the basilar part of the pons at the upper level. The same characteristic features. So pontine nuclei, black. So longitudinal fibers, transverse fiber. This is the same. Whereas the tegmental part, variations, changes, and differences occur in the tegmental part of the pons. This is at the section of the pons at the upper part of the pons. So you compare this diagram with the diagram, you can have an understanding how it is. So this is the picture of pons, gray matter and white matter. So especially in the pons, the gray matter is dispersed into nuclei that is traversed by fibers. Whereas in spinal cord, the central gray matter is H-shaped one and the peripheral white matter is in columns, anterior column, lateral column and white column. So here, the typical picture is not present in the medulla and also in the pons as in spinal cord. So in spinal cord, it is clear cut, central gray matter, H-shaped, peripheral white matter. So that typical characteristic feature you are not seeing in the medulla and also in the pons because the gray matter is dispersed into nuclei traversed by fibers. That is the characteristic features in medulla. That is also the characteristic feature in pons. So now white matter at this level comprises trapezoid body. White matter at this level comprises trapezoid body. Now, this is the trapezoid body. White matter at this level comprises trapezoid body. This trapezoid body is nothing but fibers coming from the cochlear nerves. So, these are the trapezoid body fibers. Now, this is a medial lemniscus. This is a spinal lemniscus. This is spinal nucleus at the trigeminal level. Now this is inferior cerebellar peduncle. Now this is the vestibular nuclei. This is the cochlear nuclei. Now this is the spinal nucleus of the trigeminal level. That is fifth nerve. No doubt. This is abducent nucleus. Sixth nerve. This is the motor nucleus and facial nerve, 7th level. There is vestibular nuclei and cochlear nuclei. There are 8 nerves. So these are all present in the lower part of the pons. So this is the medial lemniscus which goes and releases in the thalamus. This is a medial longitudinal bundle present on either side of the paramedian plane below the facial colliculus. Below the facial colliculus, this medial longitudinal bundle is present. It connects 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th cranial nerves. So, medial longitudinal bundle. Below that, this is present. Below the medial longitudinal bundle is tectospinal tract is present. Okay, so, it goes from tectum to the spinal cord. So, they are coming from the fibers coming from the tectum, goes into the spinal cord, that is tectospinal tract. So, then below that, rubrospinal tract, because red nucleus is present in the midbrain, midbrain is present above the pons. So, midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. So, this is fibers, rubrospinal tract. So, fibers coming from the red nucleus present in the pons, pass this rubrospinal tract and goes. The fibers coming from the red nucleus goes, the midbrain goes through the pons and also in the spinal cord and ends in the cells of the spinal cord. So, anterior horn cells of the spinal cord. So, medial longitudinal bundle, tectospinal tract and rubrospinal tract on either side of the paramedian plane is present in the lower part of the pons. Is present on the lower part of the pons. So, this is a trapezoid body, is very large. So, this is a medial lemniscus. A clear-cut medial lemniscus, a triangular one is present here. So, lateral to that, spinal lemniscus is present. So, spinal lemniscus is in the same position as in medulla also. So, the spinal lemniscus is otherwise called as lateral spinothalamic tract and lateral spinocerebellar tract. Both are very close to each other and forms the spinal lemniscus. Here is the abducent nucleus. This is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So, here in this position, it is ventrolateral to the abducent nucleus. This motor nucleus of the facial nerve is ventrolateral to the abducent nucleus. So, ventrolateral to the abducent nucleus is motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So, initially this motor nucleus of the facial nerve is lateral to the abducent nucleus, but during embryological development, it goes and runs dorsal to the abducent nucleus and comes ventrolaterally to this position. So, this migration of motor nucleus of the facial nerve around a sensory nucleus is called as neurobiotaxis. So, this motor nucleus of the facial nerve comes in close related to the spinal nucleus of the spinal nucleus and tractotibulum and spinal lemniscus. So, it reaches near to the sensory part. So, the motor nucleus of the facial nerve initially here goes around it and comes occupies this position close to the sensory reflexes. So, this is called as neurobiotaxis. So, this rotation of fibers of the facial nerve, motor fibers of the facial nerve, dorsal to the abducent nucleus. So, this is called internal genu of the facial nerve. So, such rotation around the abducent nucleus produces an elevation in the dorsal part of the pons, in the lower part of the pons. This is called as facial colliculus. So, the facial colliculus you see in the dorsal part of the pons is here. I will show you. So, this is the facial colliculus. So, this elevation, oval elevation, this oval elevation is produced because of thus rotation of the motor nucleus of the facial nerve around the abducent nucleus. That is called neurobiotaxis. Upper end of the inferior border, upper end of the medulla is continuous with this one. Large ventral or basilar part continues inferiorly with the pyramids of the medulla and on each side with the middle cerebellar peduncle. Dorsal or tegmental part is direct upward continuous to the medulla, excluding the pyramids. So, excluding the pyramids. Now, structure of basilar part is same at all levels. Structure of tegmental part vary considerably in the upper and lower parts of the falls. I have shown you the diagram representation. Basilar part. This part consists of longitudinal fibers, transverse fibers, and pontine nuclei. Already I show you in the diagram. Now, longitudinal bundle of fibers. What are the longitudinal bundle of fibers? I will show you. So, these are longitudinal bundle of fibers. They are corticonuclear fibers, corticopontine fibers. They are corticonuclear fibers and corticospinal fibers. So, this is the pontine nucleus. So, fibers from the cerebral cortex going through the midbrain and ending in the pons is called corticopontine fibers. So, those who are going through the pyramid and some fibers cross to the opposite side and end in the anterior horn cells are corticospinal fibers, crossed corticospinal fibers. Those which do not cross, they are called uncrossed corticospinal fibers. So, the crossing of corticospinal fibers, below the pons, that is medulla. So, at the lower part of the medulla forms motor adexation. So, this has got an applied anatomy importance. If you got lesion here, so if the longitudinal bundle of corticospinal fibers is affected, some fibers are crossed to the opposite side. So, lesion occurs in the opposite part. If some fibers which are not crossed only involves, it causes lesion in the same side, ipsilateral side. Hemiplegia of the same side, ipsilateral side. So, this is the characteristic feature of section of lower part of the pons. These are the characteristic features. Now, middle cerebellar peduncle is there and inferior cerebellar peduncle is there. How? Their positions. So, cochlear nuclei, dorsal and ventral are at dorsal position and ventral position to the inferior cerebellar peduncles. Vestibular nuclei, this is the vestibular nucleus. So, this is the characteristic feature of diagram of section of the pons at the lower part. So, most features occurs only in the tegmental part. Whatever in the theory, that is also shown in the diagram. Now, I will go to the differences of upper part of pons. Now, this is the upper part of the pons. A cavity at the floor of the fourth ventricle appears in a butterfly-shaped barra. This is the characteristic feature. That is not present there. So, superior cerebellar peduncle comes here. Middle cerebellar peduncle is there. No inferior cerebellar peduncle. Whereas in section of the lower part of the pons, middle cerebellar peduncle and inferior cerebellar peduncle is there. So, this medial longitudinal bundle comes anterior to the central canal, that is for floor of the fourth ventricle. So, this comes ventral to the it one, and tectospinal tract comes ventral to it, and rubrospinal tract comes ventral to it. Now, the medial lemniscus, and so this lemniscus, they are nothing but sensory. Medial lemniscus is reduced in size, and trigeminal lemniscus comes lateral to it. Spinal lemniscus comes between the trigeminal lemniscus and lateral lemniscus. So, 4 lemnisci appears here, whereas in section of the pons at the lower part of the pons, in lower region of the pons, only 2 lemnisci occur. So, you see all these 4 lemnisci, you see how this trapezoid body is reduced in size. You see the diagram of that one. I will show you the diagram of that one. So, this is the trapezoid body, how large it is. So, medial lemniscus, how large it is. Only spinal lemniscus is there. So, another 2 lemniscus has appeared there in the, so you see this diagram. You see, so here, abducent nucleus, facial nucleus, so vestibulocochlear, vestibular nerve, cochlear nerve. So, all these 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th cranial nerves appears here. So, some has escaped. What has escaped? So, you have to observe it. Only this one and this one is seen in the section of the pons at the upper part, whereas remaining all disappears. I will show you the diagram. You see, only this one motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and main sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve only present. So, motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and main sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve only two appears: vestibular nerve, cochlear nerve, facial nerve, abducent nerve. Abducent nerve does not appear. 6, 7, 8 does not appear. Only motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and main sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve appears in the section of the pons at the upper part. In section of the pons, only two appear, and 4 lemnisci appear, and middle cerebellar peduncle and superior cerebellar peduncle occurs, and inferior cerebellar peduncle has missed. Inferior cerebellar peduncle has missed, and trapezoid body has been reduced in size, has become a reticular formation, inconspicuous reticular formation, because cochlear nerve nuclei does not appear in this part. So, this is the characteristic feature of section of the pons at the upper part, upper border. So, these are the characteristic features you can identify by comparing the diagram. So, cavity at the fourth ventricle, only motor nucleus and sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve appears, and 4 lemnisci appear. So, 6th nerve, 7th nerve, and 8th nerve does not appear. They disappear. They does not appear. So, I will show you the diagram. That one. So, you see how large trapezoid body is, how large medial lemniscus, how large. So, only spinal lemniscus is there. So, another 2 lemnisci appears in between these two. Now, this is the superior salivatory nucleus, inferior salivatory nucleus. So, superior salivatory nucleus and inferior salivatory nucleus and lacrimatory nucleus are collectively present here. They are present dorsomedial to the motor nucleus of the facial nerve, or on either side of the nerve fibers of the abducent nerve. So, this is like this, whereas this does not present in the section of the pons at the upper border. This does not present. So, this does not present. This does not present. So, inferior cerebellar peduncle not present. So, this is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. 6th nerve, 7th nerve, 8th nerve nucleus does not exist in the section of the pons at the upper part. So, these are all associated with section of the pons at the lower part. So, this is the trapezoid body. A large trapezoid body appears in the section of the pons at the lower part. Whereas this characteristic feature is same. This characteristic feature is same even in that section also, upper part. So, you see, this one is same there and there. Middle cerebellar peduncle, superior cerebellar peduncle is there. This superior cerebellar peduncle and this floor of the cavity of the fourth ventricle and superior medullary velum covering the both sides of the fourth ventricle. It is a nervous tissue. It is made up of white fibrous tissue. This also appears in this section of the pons at the upper border of the pons. Only motor nucleus of the trigeminal nerve and main sensory nucleus of the trigeminal nerve appear in the section of the pons at the upper part, 5th nerve. So, 6th abducent, 7th facial, and vestibulocochlear nerve does not arise. Whereas 4 lemnisci appear here. Whereas in section of the pons at the lower part, lower border, only 2 lemnisci appear: medial lemniscus and spinal lemniscus. Whereas trigeminal lemniscus and lateral lemniscus appears in the section of the pons at the upper part. So, by comparing the diagram present in your textbook and also in the PowerPoint, you can know whatever the subject you must know in the anatomy. So, you have to study the brainstem. So, brainstem contains 10 nerves, 2 nerves, 12 nerves. Out of 12 nerves, 2 nerves, olfactory and optic from the forebrain. So, oculomotor, trochlea, they are 3rd and 4th from the midbrain, whereas 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th coming from the pons, whereas 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th coming from the medulla. They are associated with medulla. So, 12 cranial nerves, how they come from the brainstem, you can know it. So, you have to study the section of pons at upper border and lower border. Now, let us coming into the lecture. However, the lateral lemniscus is well formed. White matter. The white matter at this level consists of same ascending patch as in lower parts. Upper part also white matter. However, the lateral lemniscus is well formed in the upper part. The spinal lemniscus lies between the medial and lateral lemniscus. So, whatever the positions, the lemnisci, diagrammatic representation that I have written in the theory part here. So, spinal lemniscus lies between the medial and the lateral lemniscus. Spinal lemniscus lies between the medial and lateral lemniscus. I will show you the diagram. The same thing I had written in the diagram. So, this is the spinal lemniscus lies between the medial and lateral lemniscus. So, he has given like that. This is spinal lemniscus lies between the medial and lateral lemniscus. He has given in the diagram. The ventral part of the tegmentum immediately posterior to the basilar part presents 4 lemniscus. The same thing I had given in the now. Blood supply of the parts. Numerous pontine branches from the basilar artery, anterior inferior cerebellar artery. I will show you. This is the parts. This is the cerebellum. This is the basilar artery. It is giving anterior inferior cerebellar artery. So branches from the anterior inferior cerebellar artery. So superior cerebellar artery. It is going superior cerebellar artery. So this one and this one are branches from the basilar artery. They are pontine branches. So this one and branches from the anterior inferior cerebellar artery supply the pons, whereas superior cerebellar artery is going like this one. So this is the basilar artery present in the groove of the pons. Where is the groove of the pons? I will show you. So this is the groove of the pons which contains basilar artery. That's why it is called basilar groove. That's why it is called basilar groove. So you have to see. So transverse section of the pons through the lower part, it passes through the facial colliculus. Tegmentum at this level presents the following feature: gray matter abducent nucleus, facial nerve nucleus, eighth nerve nucleus, spinal nucleus, or trigeminal nerve. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. So trigeminal nerve is 5th nerve, abducent nerve is 6th nerve, facial nerve is 7th nerve, 8th nerve is vestibulocochlear nerve. Sensory part of the vestibulocochlear nerve is called as nervus intermedius. Superior salivatory, inferior salivatory, and lacrimatory nuclei lie medial to the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. Already I explained you neurobiotaxis. Nucleus of tractus solitarius lies lateral to the superior salivatory nucleus. Now already I told you vestibular nucleus lies beneath the vestibular area in the floor of the fourth ventricle. Where the vestibular nucleus is present, I will show you. Vestibule. This is the facial colliculus. This is the vestibular area. So vestibular nucleus is present in this area, beneath this area. Divided into 4 quadrants. So upper medial, upper lateral, lower medial, lower lateral, or inferior medial or inferior lateral, or superior medial or superior lateral. So this is the vestibular area. This is the vestibular area. This vestibular area contains vestibular nucleus. So facial colliculus contains facial nucleus. So vagal triangle contains vagal nucleus. So hypoglossal triangle contains hypoglossal nucleus. Hypoglossal nucleus. Like that, they are present because they are present. That's why they are called that, named on that name of the nucleus or nerve. So that area is called. So nucleus is nothing but a collection of nerve cells, neurons in the central nervous system. From the nucleus, fibers arise and gives rise to nerve. So vagal nucleus, collection of neurons. So vagal nerve, the fibers coming from the vagal nucleus forms the vagal nerve. Hypoglossal nucleus, collection of neurons. So hypoglossal nucleus, fibers coming from the hypoglossal nucleus gives rise to nerve, that is hypoglossal nerve. So you have to understand the phenomena. So corticopontine fiber, corticonuclear fibers. Now, fibers coming from the cortex and in the pontine nuclei, they are called cortico-pontine fibers. Rely in ipsilateral pontine nucleus, same side of the nucleus. Cortico-nuclear fibers rely in contralateral motor nuclei of the cranial nerves. So, there are cranial nerves attached to the pons. They go to the opposite side cranial nerves. So, they are contralateral. Corticospinal fiber converges towards the lower part of the pons and form the pyramids of the medulla. Already I explained. Transverse fibers arrive in the pontine nuclei and cross to the opposite side, form the middle cerebellar peduncle. So, whatever the fibers present in the middle cerebellar peduncle, they are fibers coming from the opposite side of the pons, because pontine nuclei present in the opposite side of the pons. So, gives rise to fibers that are going to the opposite side. So, pontine nuclei are present in the pons, they give fibers, they crosses to the opposite side, so they form the middle cerebellar peduncle. So, fibers in right side of the middle cerebellar peduncle, nuclei is present in left side of the pons. So, vice versa, controversy. So, during development, some of the pontine nuclei get displaced and form the arcade nucleus and the pontobulbar body. So, arcade nuclei, you see the section of the medulla. Some fibers are present over the pyramid. They are arcade nucleus. You have to go through the section of the medulla. Tegmental part is traversed by a number of ascending and descending tract and contain dextration or transversely running fiber. Trapezoid body, nuclei of trigeminal, abducent, facial, vestibulocochlear nerves. Already I show you in the section of the pons at upper lower level. So all these are present. Structure of tegmentum differs in upper cranial and lower caudal parts. Upper part of the upper border section of the pons and the upper border of the pons, and section of the pons and the lower border of the pons. I have shown you the true diagram. I have shown you the salient features what are present in the upper border of the pons. I have shown you what are the structures present in the lower border of the pons. You have to write in a theory in your own language while you are writing an answer. That is most important. So, dorsal and ventral cochlear nuclei. Dorsal cochlear nuclei, ventral cochlear nuclei, inferior cerebellar peduncle. So, you see all these nuclei, how they are present in the lower part of the section of the pons. This is facial colliculus. So, section of the pons, lower part of the lower part of the pons goes to the facial colliculus. You have to say. These are the features. So, blood supply of the pons. Pons is richly blood supplied. Pontine branches coming from the basilar artery, anterior inferior cerebellar artery. These two. So, you see the diagram. I will explain you. Now, clinical correlation. Millard-Gubler syndrome and medial inferior pontine syndrome. It results from a lesion in the lower part of the pons. So, this is the pons section at the lower part. So, this is area involved in Millard-Gubler syndrome. This is the pontine nucleus. This is the pontine nucleus. These are all the transverse fibers. This is the one nerve. This is the facial nerve. This is the abducent nerve. So, this is the facial nerve. This is the abducent nerve. So, these two nerves are coming. So, this area is supplied by anterior inferior cerebellar artery. If anterior inferior cerebellar artery is involved, this lesion occurs. This lesion involves transverse fibers, longitudinal fibers. So, longitudinal fiber, this is the transverse fibers are present in the pons, and longitudinal fibers present in the pons. Is the lower part of the pons. Now, and also exit of the facial nerve and exit of the abducent nerve. So, what are the areas supplied by these two nerves? And crossed fibers and uncrossed fibers will affect the same. What are the signs and symptoms? I am telling you. The anatomical structure located in the pontocerebellar angle equilibrium. Now, this is the another part, lateral part of the pons. This is another part. Now, if this part is involved, so this is facial nerve. So, the facial nerve coming out of this one, so facial nerve is injured. So, facial palsy will occur. Now, this is the another nerve, vestibulocochlear nerve. So, This nerve is also involved. So the lesions occurs associated with tinnitus, deafness, etc. That is the eighth nerve. So facial nerve involvement is there. So facial palsy can occur. So these are the symptoms associated if this area is involved. If this area is involved. So what are the structures present in that region will be affected if that area is occluded, blood supply present in that area by the corresponding. So this area is supplied by the anterior inferior cerebellar artery. This area is supplied by branches from the basilar artery. So area involved in Millard-Gubler syndrome is anterior inferior cerebellar artery. So anatomical structures located in the pontocerebellar angle include 7th and 8th cranial nerve, flocculus or cerebellum, choroid plexus and 4th ventricle. Pontocerebellar angle syndrome occurs due to pressure exerted on the lateral region of the caudal part of the pons by acoustic neuroma. It arises by Schwann cells surrounding the cochlear nerve near its attachment to the brainstem. Pontocerebellar angle syndrome occurs due to pressure exerted on the lateral region of the caudal part of the pons by acoustic neuroma. It arises by Schwann cells surrounding the cochlear nerve near its attachment to the brainstem. మీకు diagram చూపిస్తున్నాను చూడండి. This is the vestibulocochlear nerve. So this is coming from this region. If this area is involved, so fibers arising from the vestibulocochlear nucleus. So cochlear nucleus, this is affected. This is the motor nucleus of the facial nerve. So fibers also involved. Like that, you have to identify. Pontocerebellar angle. So tinnitus, progressive deafness, vertigo due to damage of the 8th cranial nerve. So ipsilateral, lower motor neuron type of facial palsy due to involvement of facial nerve. Ipsilateral loss of pain and temperature sensation and loss of corneal reflex due to involvement of spinal tract and nucleus or trigeminal. So whatever the nucleus is affected, so spinal tract or trigeminal nerve, it is a sensory. So proprioceptive sensations, loss of pain and temperature sensation, loss of corneal reflex due to involvement of spinal tract and nucleus of trigeminal nerve. If these spinal tract of trigeminal nerve is involved, so these are the signs and symptoms produced. Now pontine hemorrhage. Due to involvement of pontine basilar and anterior inferior cerebellar arteries, if both are involved, severe pontine hemorrhage occurs. So bilateral damage of the pons occurs. The pons controls over the medulla. So pontine hemorrhage, bilateral pontine hemorrhage is associated with pinpoint pupils. So in the medulla, vasomotor system is there, vasomotor center is there, respiratory center is there. So thermoregulation is also present. So heat regulation system from the hypothalamus comes to the pons and also to the medulla. So if the pons is bilateral, hemorrhage occurs in the pons. So this heat regulation mechanism from the hypothalamus is lost over the medulla because the intervening pons is damaged because of bilateral pons contain hemorrhage. This leads to rise of temperature pyrexia. Pinpoint pupils, rise of body temperature, unconsciousness. These are all the characteristic features of pontine basilar hemorrhage. So because the thermoregulatory center present in the medulla, thermoregulatory center present in the hypothalamus. So in between these two pons is the bilateral hemorrhage, massive hemorrhage occurs in the pons. So this controlling mechanism of the hypothalamus over the medulla is lost because the intervening pons is shuttered with hemorrhagic blood. So thermoregulation center and everything is lost. So these are all the characteristic features clinical anatomical changes produced by a patient if occurs. So pinpoint pupil, involvement of ocular sympathetic fiber, hyperpyrexia due to severe damage to pons, deep coma due to involvement of reticular formation. Reticular formation is present in medulla and also in pons. Bilateral paralysis of face and limbs due to involvement of facial nerve and corticospinal fibers. Paralysis of face and limbs due to involvement of facial nerve. The motor nucleus of the facial nerve. In corticospinal fibers, they are pyramidal fibers. They are motor fibers. They are coming from the cortex. They are going through the midbrain. They are going through the pons. They are going through the medulla in the form of pyramids. They are reaching the anterior horn cells of the spinal cord. They are motor in function. So paralysis of the face and corticospinal fibers of that area occurs. So this is opposite side. If crosser fibers are affected, if same fibers are affected, it is ipsilateral. Now tumors of the pons. Astrocytoma of the pons is the most common tumor of the brainstem. Astrocytoma of the pons is the most common tumor of the brainstem. It usually occurs in childhood. The signs and symptoms depend on the area affected. Astrocytoma of the pons is most common tumor of the brainstem. It usually occurs in childhood. The signs and symptoms depend upon the area affected. Already you know what areas are present in the pons, in the upper border of the pons, what areas are present in the lower border of the pons, what nuclei are present. So if this tumor causes pressure over that nucleus, so the nerve supply in that area is damaged. So the signs and symptoms will be produced according to that. So you have to guess it. You have to think about it. What will be happen if something happens in one part of the body? So these are all the clinical anatomy. Thank you very much for your patient learning in this hour. I always request my dear student, for my next class, you have to read this class also. For this class, you have to go through the previous class also. Then only the central nervous system will be a continuous system. Your understanding will become very easy. Wish you best of luck. Thank you very much. I asked Sushma to communicate you the PowerPoints. Thank you very much, my dear students and my dear friends.